Well, good morning, everybody, and a very warm welcome to Ask the Accountant. The episode number is number 84. The date is the 3rd of June, 2024. And we have a show packed to the brim of updates galore, of maybe some news we're not supposed to talk about, but we'll get around to that one. We've got some drama. And then we've also got the world of Accounting Excellent Awards to talk to you about as well. We are brought to you by Apron, but more on them later. My name is Aaron Patrick, and with me, as always, is my co-host, Johann. Johann, how has your weekend/week been? Has it been a productive one?
Good morning. It's always a productive one. Just planning the future of Client Engager, dominating the world, usual stuff, really. But yeah, no, I managed to get a barbecue in this weekend. First time this year where it's not actually rained. Then left all the cushions on the seats outside, having had a nice weekend, and it rained for an hour at midnight, and that was it. They all need drying again. But yeah, busy, very, very busy. But yeah, all good. How about yourself?
We tried to have a barbecue this weekend. We even got a Dishoom barbecue pack, which I highly recommend to everyone. They do a whole barbecue pack that gets sent over. They only do them in limited quantities and runs and stuff, but we'll keep an eye on it and grab them when they're there. But you can imagine the quality. Yeah, it's fantastic.
And the price tag.
Yeah, but then you always overpay for barbecue stuff, right? Especially I have a butcher background, so yeah, for me it's yeah. Anyway, so we got the water thing out, spraying everything down, got everything all clean and stuff, the jet wash and all that sort of stuff. Went to go to the barbecue, no gas. And then, yeah, there's a massive issue getting gas at the moment. So, so yeah, it was in the air fryer and oven, and it's not quite the same, is it? But yeah,
no, it's not. I mean, we haven't got a gas barbecue; we've got coals. But I used a bag of coals from last year. I've never had so much smoke in my face in all my life. Our meat was well smoked. They obviously got damp over the winter.
I mean, I prefer a coal one. We still have the coal one there, but yeah, just for ease, it was get the gas one out, get it up and running. But yeah, that's the way the cookie crumbles. And hello to our people who are listening in as well. Remember, we go live every Monday morning at 8:30 a.m. And if you are listening back to this on any of the podcast channels or on catch up or anything like that, why not consider joining us live? And then you can ask questions. We've got Cheryl in the room. Good morning, Cheryl. How are you? We've got Dave in the room. Good morning, Dave. How are you? We've got Natasha in the room, Paul in the room, and Clive's there as well. With his coming through. So he's actually here. Oh, bank holiday Monday morning as well. That's brilliant, isn't it? I mean, that's commitment for you.
Bank holiday in Ireland. So
that sounds like a messy combination. If you get yourself down to get a few Guinnesses down you and everything else. So good morning, Clive, and he's got his own podcast now as well. So everyone. Yes. Encourage you to go out there, get yourself listening in on Clive's podcast. League Saint says, good morning, everyone. Looking forward to getting into the office for a rest today after a great weekend watching the TT races. Oh, it is the TT at the moment, isn't it? Yeah, over on Isle of Wight. Work party trackside Saturday, then in the grandstand with my Isle of Man, sorry, yeah. Work party trackside Saturday, then in grandstand. Oh, that sounds like absolute heaven. That does. Absolutely loving it. And Kirsty St. John's here as well. Good morning, Kirsty. Hope you are good. Right on. Let's go straight into the conversation topics. First of all, a bit of an update from me. I'm trying a new thing called a workation. I'm not 100% sure about this yet. We'll see how it goes, or how productive and everything else is going to be. But the concept is that we're going away with a group of practice managers. We're going to lock ourselves in a house for 5 days. We've got loads of topics to cover. We've got loads of stuff to do, and we're going to be working on our practice. That's the theory. We're going to see exactly how that's going to be. But Jan, you're someone who's said time and time again that the idea of organized fun is your idea of hell.
Yep.
Would you ever consider a workation? What about Client Engager? Going away, getting your head down as a group, brainstorming?
In the software world, there's a thing called a hackathon.
Yes.
Where you lock yourselves in a venue and you just get on with work. You brainstorm it, you get on with it, you test things. I mean, we work at a rate of knots anyway, but we are in talks, myself, Ash, Andy, and Peter, to look at doing something like that. But there wouldn't be any routines and structures and let's go and do a morning run and organized fun in the evenings or anything like that. It would literally be right. Let's lock ourselves in a conference room somewhere, in a hotel, and just sleep, eat, drink, work for a couple of days, just to knock out like the planning of the next few months and stuff. So I can see the value of a workation, and like I know there's a lot of people that will book out. They literally go away for a long weekend by themselves or with a couple of work colleagues with a particular topic in mind, and they go and do it. 5 days with group activities, and I'm not sure you're going to get much done out of it. I don't know. I could be wrong. It's going to be down to the group of people and how militantly organized it is. And you will be here at this point. You will finish at that point. And like I find that kind of structure restricts creativity and like curtails conversations early, when actually you just need to have a bit of relaxation and just go with the conversation and see where it takes you.
I don't think it needs to be as structured as like a workshop, because I think that's what you're thinking of, isn't it? Like if you think of the workshops that people pay for to go to, I don't think it needs to be as structured as that. But I think there still needs to be a little bit of structure, because if you just, in the software world, you've all got a common goal, right? Like the common goal is let's find a way to improve the thing, and sometimes actually getting away from the noise and just letting the brain kind of go off and start thinking about problems and stuff, and maybe like have a look back at some of the biggest issues your users have had and how do you solve those issues, and that's great, right? Because it gives the creativity. But I think when it comes to running a practice, there's so much breadth of problems and everything else. If it was just a free-for-all every day, it'll be really tricky to keep focus, wouldn't it?
I think everyone just goes to these events with their own challenges. Says, right, this is what I'm working on, knowing that I've got a room full of experts who have all gone through something similar and will be able to bounce ideas and have conversations with. I'm very much rather a free-flowing type thing than this is when dinner is, between this hour and this hour we're talking about this topic and stuff. I just think it can curtail the creativity and the conversation and the value you can get from those conversations. But it'll be interesting to see how you get on.
I'm skeptical, only because I don't know how much work I'm going to get done, and I'm just absolutely full of work at the moment. I think that's the wrong mentality, right? The whole point is you're supposed to take yourself away from work, and you're supposed to come in this without the pressures of work behind you.
But at the same time, that requires it to sit in line with when it's feasible to do that. Like if you've got client deadlines, they have to take priority.
Exactly.
And or you accept that you're going to deal with the client deadlines when you get back or before you go. Like if it's not going to work with your diary, then I'd argue what's the point in it.
I suppose the question is, though, when do you get off that hamster wheel, isn't it? And it's that mentality, isn't it? Like
at some point you're going to have to do some extra time and extra hours to catch up or get ahead so you can do this.
So we'll see what it's I love the concept. I think I love the concept. I've never done it, right? So I think I love the concept. I'm just not sure it's for me. I think it's a me problem than anything else. But we will see. We'll see how much benefit we get, and we'll report back next week. Next week could be an interesting one. We've not spoken about this properly yet, but I'm up in Scotland next week, so we'll figure it out. We'll figure out how we do it, but maybe it's an in-person live show, but we'll talk about that and keep you updated. Yes, but it should be a good one. All right then. So Clive's Paul says, I do my best brainstorming while on holiday. Always get a notepad when sat by the pool in the sun. What's a notepad, Paul? You'll have to let me know what firmware it's on, and everything else.
Is it on the App Store?
Must be a bit of tech I've missed. Do you know what I mean? Like,
but Paul's right. Like, I will go and do, like, in July, I'm away for 2 weeks in Mauritius with the family as per usual, and they are fully accepting that I will be sat there with an iPad, and at random points I'll start scribbling things down, and I'll come back with a list of notes. Like, that's just how my head works. Yeah, like, it doesn't seem to switch off, and when it does start to quiet down, that's when ideas come out, and then it works harder because it's brainstorming. So
exactly, yeah, and they're the ones where you're not thinking about client deadlines and stuff. You're thinking about stuff that's actually, on the business, isn't it? On the practice. They're the bits that you get to really think about. Some of the best ideas we've had, and also from a social media point of view, there is so much content that can be kind of generated from those sort of things just by letting your brain just switch off for a bit, isn't it?
Speaking of the social media content, though, like,
I know we've got the TikTok star in the room. Is that what
there he is, Mr. Tim?
TikTok sensation himself, Tim. Good morning, Tim. Yeah, go for it.
Like, a lot of people are quite critical of those of us that are sat chilling out, writing down ideas on holiday. That, oh, you've got to switch off, you've got to relax, you've got to turn off your mind. And, well, if that works for you, great. Don't judge other people because it doesn't work for them. Like, that's the bit that really annoys me, is how we seem to be anti people doing that. But if that's what works for them, then let them embrace it. Don't judge people because they don't work in the same way you do.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I think as well, like, everyone likes to have an opinion on those sort of things, right? It just, all they're doing is just trying to drive their own traffic. So actually, they're being hypocritical themselves. But yeah, whatever. Kirsty says, "Oh, both from John's gone. I don't think I've got an umbrella big enough by the sounds of it."
Scottish weather has not been good to us.
And I'm not sure my microphone can handle the pitter patter of the rain. Clive says, went to Portugal for 3 days in May, and it was great to talk. Oh, I can't see that bit. Great to talk about their challenges and how to overcome them, and a way we knew ideas to work on. Yeah, and that's the thing, right? When you're all together and having that, that gives you the option to do it. Notepads from events, got to use the swag from Accountex. Okay. I'll let you off. They do come in really useful, don't they? I can't take any credit. It was all Millie, really. Oh, okay. So you're not the TikTok star. It's your staff that's the TikTok star. And she's got a great podcast coming out from us in 5 weeks or so, whenever it's going to be, whenever the schedule comes. So keep an eye out for that one. Wonderful. All right. Okay. So workation. We'll see how it goes. We'll report back next week, either in the rain, as by the sound of it, or from a Premier Inn hotel room. Which, the frustrating thing is we got the Brewdog Hotel for the day after. So, yeah, Taylor Swift, eh? How dare she ruin them all plans? Okay, cool. So let's talk about the big conversation topic of the week. Every time you went on LinkedIn, someone was talking about this, right? Zero, as predicted, Aaron, because we talked about this.
We were on this weeks ago, people.
We said, do you think this is going to come our end? Do you think it is? Well, it certainly has. Price rises has been announced from the 12th of September 2024. The prices for current business plans in the UK are going to increase as follows. So you go to 16.33, 47.59 pound. Now, personally, I don't think that's the issue here. I think price rises are going to happen. That's fine. I'm more than happy with that. Not happy, that's the wrong word, but we can accept it, right? We should be raising our prices accordingly, and clients unfortunately should be able to accept that either.
People on my team asked me and said, "Why is this such a big issue, Johann? It's £1, it's £3, it's £4. It's not an." So yeah, like the way they've pitched it, it's only when you do the digging that you get upset.
Exactly. And I think for me, the frustration is that from a client point of view, that's for us to manage, right? If it becomes if our clients can't afford it, then we need to find other alternatives. Free Agent's got an amazing solution if you go with metal, right? For those sort of clients that really can't afford it and really struggling. There's options out there. But what frustrates me about the way Zero have done it is they've taken away functionality and increased the price, I think that's an absolute no. I think that's, that's suicide in my eyes in terms of brand loyalty and everything else. That just puts a bitter taste in people's mouth.
I haven't realised how much the ledgers have gone up by over the years. Like, it's
how much
something I normally look at. Like, I was convinced like ledgers were like £1-2, maybe £3 a month.
Yeah,
they're double that.
Oh, like, really?
They're close between £7 and £11.
Yet they don't talk. Well, they don't publicly put that out there, do they? I suppose because it's accountants only. Maybe is that the reason that they don't talk about it?
No, but I mean, as I discussed with you guys last week on QuickBooks Labs, I don't think QuickBooks Ledger is quite a finished product, or anywhere close to a finished product.
Yeah.
But the fact that they are so competitive on their pricing now makes it a very interesting conversation to be had.
Yeah. It forces the hand of people like Xero, doesn't it? Like, if they can go in at that price point. My biggest frustration out of all this, the bit that I'm annoyed about, is Xero keep pushing this starter plan. So they're calling it, and the new names I don't think work in my eyes. We'll talk about why in a moment. But they're talking about this starter plan at £16 per month. And in the tech industry, this is one of the things that have been called out upon, and the tech industry is starting to change. So if you go and buy like an iPad, for example, it'll be starting from blah, 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 blah. And it'll always be a SKU that actually no one should be paying for, because it's absolutely useless. It's just not worth it's not worth printing the SKU name out, let alone actually, creating the product that if people do buy, they're just going to get a poor experience with, right?
Yeah.
So there's this whole trend in the tech industry about the starting from price needs to change, and realistically, starting from price is only there to make it look cheap and look attractive or look cost effective, right? And Xero is doing exactly the same. Their starter plan, in my eyes, is a bit of a joke. Like, you're only allowed, I can't remember the numbers off the top of my head, but you're only allowed so many invoices and so many bills and all this, that, and the other. And it's really restrictive, isn't it?
Yes.
That's, to me, isn't a starter plan. That's a trial. That's that should be the free SKU.
A one-day trial.
Yeah, because Xero Go tried to do it, right? And I'm one of the only people who actually like the Xero Go product. I thought that was an interesting take on it. It was something that was a bit different, and I could see what they were trying to do with it, right? But that, to me, should be the starter plan. It's an entry level, get yourself in there. But for £16 per month, I think my problem is I've struggled to find a business that could live off that starter plan properly. It just doesn't feel right. So yeah, I think that's where I'm frustrated about it, because I feel like that starter plan just is only there to drive the number. It's only there to show that you can get it for £16 per month, where realistically, I don't think anyone should be using that plan at all. So really, their quote unquote starter plan should be the standard plan, which is £33 per month. And that does seem like a big hike, doesn't it?
So this is the bit that so I agree, the starter plan's a non-starter, like it's crap.
Yeah.
But the other issue I've got is we've got rid of our bolt-ons, which is a bit annoying because you and I quite enjoy taking the piss out of them for that. So like when they sponsor a coffee stand and it's like, oh, sorry, do you want sugar with that? That's extra. But so they've said we've got rid of our add-on plans, our bolt-ons for payroll, CIS and stuff. And instead we've included it. So on the growth plan, you can have one employee. Well, what if that's the director? And then he employs or she employs someone. All of a sudden, I've got to go to the top, like the premium plan, to have up to 5. And then the unlimited plan, how the hell was that unlimited when you're only allowed 10?
And what happens after 10, though? What is it, bolt on after that?
Don't know. Couldn't find the information online. Like, yeah, like unlimited. I mean, we already had to have a chat with Xero about the concept that a feature release is not a new Google font. But do we need to have a chat with Xero and explain the concept of unlimited? Because they don't seem to understand it.
Maybe we should ask Sage Copilot what the word unlimited means. Maybe that's what
I mean, I'd say let's ask Jax, but It's just a marketing pipe dream at the moment. It's not actually a functioning
It'll come
tool.
back with unlimited. Do you mean you want to get rid of your accountant?
Yeah.
Did you mean to say, how can we get rid of this accountant?
But yeah, it's been a very bad week for Zero PR. And
yeah, I mean, price rises are never going to be nice for them, right? Like that.
someone was saying like this is the third one in 12 or 18 months or something as well.
Seems like there's been a few of them, doesn't it? It does seem that
even
way.
if they didn't do a bleeding reshuffle of the structure, I don't think this would have gone well. The beauty of QuickBooks for us is that we know every February the price goes up. And we build that into our plans and expectations. And then, yeah, I don't know. Like, from what I understand, from what I've seen, Sage is an annual price review, which fine. Like, as long as it's consistent, you don't mind.
Yeah.
But then Dex not doing anything for 5 years and then rocketing isn't acceptable. And doing it 3 times in 12 to 18 months isn't acceptable either. Like, yeah, how are we meant to keep up with that?
Well, the problem with Dex was that they had so many different price points for so many people that people just weren't aware of, right? Like that's
they
what
priced it for their mates. Like, oh, you're so and so. Right, here you go.
Yeah, exactly. So at least, in fairness, they've had to go through an absolute horror show to do it, but at least they've got to the point where it's consistent. You can pat on the back for them for that if that's the right phrase. But
I think it is. We don't know for sure.
We don't know for sure, right? But I mean, the Zero one, they've still got the price. They've still got those price barriers as well. Those paywalls, sorry. So you can only unlock some of the sweeties in the jar by unlocking X, Y, Z. Like work papers and stuff is still behind the the paywall, from what I can tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just and I feel like the amount of people that it's a tricky one, right? Because the people defending it, and there's people who rightly want to defend it because it's their favorite software, and I blindly defended QuickBooks in the past, right? And got caught out on it. So the people who are defending it, the problem is they're defending just the price increase, and that's not the issue. Like the price increase is going to happen with this out of our control. It's
ideally once every 12 months.
Yeah. But the bit that people aren't defending is the features being stripped away and the change of the plans that, if anything, they're now more confusing. Like you said, unlimited, but it's not unlimited, right? Starter, but it's not starter. Growth, or whatever the other one's called, and no, standard and premium they're called now. It's like, the others seem to get the naming structure right first time. Zero don't seem to understand their naming structure, and they're still trying to figure it out. And they're just giving the wrong message out of it. So yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of comments on LinkedIn at the moment about it, as you can imagine. People are looking to change, but one thing is, I think this really highlights, is changing your bookkeeping software that you provide for your clients, your FMS as we're supposed to be calling it now, is a huge undertaking, right? Like that is not something you can do overnight.
I think that's why people get so upset by change of pricing and more importantly, change of structure, because they know they're between a rock and a hard place. Either they've got to put the price up, and it's like I've reviewed some of my clients that are on Zero.
Yeah,
they're not just the £1, £4. They're going to have to go into different tiers, which is £20 and stuff because of what they are and aren't using. And so we're like, right, we're going to have to talk to them, and either they stomach the increase or we're going to have to move them. Well, that's a huge expense and time resource on our side.
Yeah.
So, now, QuickBooks have got a deal with Move My Books where QuickBooks basically pay for the transfer themselves, because Move My Books will do up to 2 years free of charge, courtesy of QuickBooks. I would not be surprised. I'd need to have a look around, but I wouldn't be surprised if Sage have a transferring option.
It makes sense.
Like people out there are trying to make it easier for us, but even so, it's still a huge pain point.
It's massive. It's training the client, because that ultimately they're using it, right? It's for a lot of practices, it's your front end. It's what clients see the most of. Like we love having client portals and stuff in Client Engager, for example, right? But actually, they may use that on a monthly, maybe yearly basis. They're probably logging into their QuickBooks Zero Sage on a daily basis, right? And we're encouraging to do that, don't we? So that's the problem, isn't it? Like that, it becomes the face of your business. So swapping that over is really, really difficult. And I just feel like a lot of knee-jerk reaction, because fair play to you guys, like you moved over from Dext in record time, right? Moved over from that. I was able to move from my practice management in record time because they're the ones that we can have a little bit control over, and we can get those over. And it's a painful job, but actually it shows we can do it. We can get that move over sooner rather than later. But moving your whole bookkeeping, FMS solution, whatever we're calling it nowadays, moving that over, that's going to be an absolute nightmare, isn't it? So yeah.
Tim and Chris have both confirmed that Sage do have a transfer deal available.
Oh, there we are.
And it's those deals that make it more of a viable option for us to move.
So it's moved my books as well for Sage, which is cool. And so Chris has also confirmed Copilot will definitely know what the word unlimited is. That'll be the first test we do when we get our hands on
it. Xero have committed quite a damaging attack on themselves there.
I think the problem with Xero at the moment is they've got to be very coy about what they say and don't say, right? Because Jax, they needed to announce it just to stay ahead, and they got the messages all wrong.
It's not even staying ahead; it's just to be seen as that they've got something
been involved. And their messaging is basically, okay, I'm being a little bit facetious, but their message is basically, you don't need an accountant, you've got Jax, right? So that's not what their intention is with that. It's just that's how it's been perceived. Their pricing, they had to get this out now because it's not due until like September, right? But they had to get it out now because they need all of that negativity away, so that when Xero comes next week, it's next week, isn't it? Or week after.
Xero comes next week,
they need that to be all about the positive, don't they? And they need to concentrate on. But we don't know, right? Give them the benefit of the doubt. They've got, let's say, they've got 10 earth-shattering announcements to make at XeroCon, right? And these
we're going to get Comic Sans in Xero.
But whatever they've got planned, whatever their media like PR teams got ready, they need it to be absolutely. I think because we're a fickle bunch,
and that
right?
needs to be the last message we receive.
So we're a fickle bunch. Whatever they announce, if it's earth shattering, for a lot of people, they're going to forget about the price hikes until September because there's a new shiny thing that we're going to be concentrating on, right? And there's this new shiny thing that whatever they're going to announce at XeroCon. So I get why, like, the timing sucks for them because they almost have to say it and then stay quiet because they know that XeroCon, or at least their hope is XeroCon's going to quench the flames out and everyone's just going to be talking about the shiny stuff at that point. Yeah. So you kind of feel sorry for them because they're almost put into this of their own doing. They've been forced into this area. Like, Sage are able to dominate Accountex because that's their place where they can announce cool stuff, right? They didn't have to hold anything back.
People have actually going to XeroCon because I'm still getting emails every other day asking if I want to buy a ticket for XeroCon.
What, 400 and something odd pound it is now, isn't it? Like, you've lost the early price, so yeah,
£350.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
So I don't know. Like, I do wonder how successful XeroCon's going to be for them this year.
Yeah, it's a shame you can't get yourself down to XeroCon. I mean, that'd be a great way of getting some news for the show. We might need to bring someone on who's been to XeroCon. So if anyone is going to XeroCon, if anyone is going to XeroCon, do let us know so that we can maybe bring you on the Monday show after, because it'd be great to get your thoughts on it. All right. Natasha says, I moved a lot of Xero accounts to Sage in the last couple of weeks. Excellent. Is that anything to do with Sage Copilot by any chance, Natasha? Are you drawn by the new shininess? If you don't move clients, would you pass the work on to an outsourced bookkeeper, then run from the TB only? Could work, right? But yeah, I suppose it depends on if the client's doing their own, right? That you want to encourage it. The thing is, back in the day when it was, desktop solutions, you could get away with the client never logging in, never getting involved. Right now, we want them to be involved, even if we do the bookkeeping, and we do, what is it? What is it? 60 odd % of our clients now we do the bookkeeping for. Like a huge boom in us doing bookkeeping on behalf of clients, but we still want the clients logging in on a regular basis. A, to keep us accountable, and B, so they're getting use of the software, right? And getting that real time information and encouraging all that. So yeah, it's difficult. Okay, maybe worthwhile asking if she's around to have a chat with us not next week, week after, isn't it? For Laura, yeah. And yes, we're looking forward. Copilot has been a big enhancement to my practice. Yeah, we're definitely looking forward to having a play around, see what it can do.
While we're talking about AI, though,
yeah, go on, do it. You've been waiting to do this. The segue, go for it.
So it's SIF Analytics.
Oh, different one. Okay, go on then. Yeah. Go on then.
So SIF Analytics have. I love the way. To be fair, as I said in my LinkedIn post last week, I love the way Sage and Sift have both done their AI releases, right? They've actually released a product and then shouted about it, or they've shouted about it in a big event and released it the next week or something. Whereas Xero and QuickBooks have announced something and we're nowhere closer right now to getting it. Like, what are we? Nearly 9 months since QuickBooks announced Intuit Assist. It's nowhere near the UK from what we can tell. It's not. It's in beta in the US at best. Jax is a marketing person's dream, that we can tell. But Sage and SIF Analytics,
not a good dream. I'd say nightmare at this point for the accounting community.
But yeah, SIF Analytics and Sage. So Sage made an announcement back in March, and their beta is open. People are signing up and using it. I got to see it last week for a friend of mine, and it looks really good, and what they've got planned is exciting. But I logged into SIF Analytics on Thursday, and there's a new shiny button, AI. Oh, what's this? Pressed it on a P&L, and my God, the insights, like, it literally gave me all my talking points for the client meeting I had the next day in seconds.
Nice.
It was incredible. But and then I was like, I've not heard them talk about this. Went onto all their social medias and stuff. They started talking about it the day they released it.
Love it.
We weren't sold any dreams, aspirations, hopes.
So it wasn't a bolt-on.
And it's not a bolt-on. Well, let's clarify that. So each client I link to SIF Analytics, which is all of them because I'm on the unlimited plans, I get 2 AI presses of the button a month on different whatever reports I want to run it on. But me and my team were looking at this on Friday, and once you've run the management, like the P&L, and you press the AI button, that's where it gets you the real value. We might do the same on balance sheets, but do you want the AI to analyze your creditors, for example, or can you just look at the great graphs and charts in SIF and work that out for yourself? So yeah, so it's what I can work out is you get 2 presses of the button for each client each month, free of charge. If you want more than that, then you can either upgrade that one client by $9 a month as a bolt-on to get unlimited, or you can add a bolt-on to your whole firm for $125 a month for unlimited AI on all of your clients. So we're going to be just testing it over the next few months and just go, is 2 enough? Yeah. I think it will be. I don't think we're going to suffer from only having 2 presses of the button. As long as you know the data in it's right first. So, check everything's refreshed, check you're happy with the books before you analyze it with AI. But yeah, I just think huge credit to Sift and to Sage. And we'll come on to another talk, get all the buzz and then it goes terribly wrong in a moment. But fair play to them both for going, here's what we're going to do. Oh, here it is.
Yeah. I do need to have a play around with it. I reading your posts and seeing that and what you've just talked about then does sound right. I think the price point's interesting, right? Yes, they can't just go and and give you unlimited access or anything else. They need a buy-in, right? But the idea that they can kind of tease you enough to, most of the time, it's going to be enough. But for those clients who you need it for, it's going to be worthwhile. I love it. We've just been talking about Zero, and Sue then turns up when we stop talking about Zero. So you might want to go back to there, Sue, and try and defend Zero later down the line for us. Cool. All right. Before we go any further, we do need to go in and run our ad for Apron. We are absolutely loving Apron at the moment, and this is why.
Okay, so if you thought receipt capture was easy from Apron, check this out. Here I am, chilling at the Apron stand at Accountex, while my team needs to make me pay a bill. They've set it up on Apron for me. They've sent me an email. I just press continue to dashboard. Gets me to log in. I authorise the payment. Payment goes out my bank account. You know what's even better? If they need me to pay 10 bills, I only have to authorise it once. I make one payment. That's it. Job's a good one. I can go back to drinking coffee with the Apron guys.
I'm sorry, I don't care what you say. That was better than yours.
Well, we'll let the community decide when we put a poll up one day. But no, we love Apron. Their receipt capture tool has gone from strength to strength. Absolutely loving what they're doing there. So yeah, I've got a video due out about 2 weeks time, I think it is, just a kind of a long-term review on their receipt capture, so that'll be good to see. And we've got some amazing videos coming on Ask the Accountant on the Apron story. So we love Apron. Thank you so much for being involved in our little journey. Thank you for giving us the book club as well, because that's also a great little conversation topic of people trying to figure out what books are helping them go through. So thank you, Apron. Right then, so the next one is Andy says you were super casual. Yeah,
but that's how easy Apron payments are. You can be all casual about it.
I mean, at one point, looked like you were about to fall asleep, but that's fine. That's fine. Sue says she will go back and listen later. Yes, you will do. You'll do your homework and you'll report back on the homework coming through. So yeah, thanks for that. Brilliant. All right then. So the other thing we need to talk about is the Accounting Excellence Awards. That's right. Accounting Excellence is, how long have we got to go until the deadline for getting the
2 weeks? I think it's the 15th of June for the submission deadline. I'll verify that information right now.
Yep. While you do that, let me tell you what
14th of June,
14th
people.
of June.
At midnight.
So the #1 accounting and awards program, which is Accounting Excellence Awards. It's an amazing night on the October the 8th at Camden Roundhouse. Everyone is there, over 600 of the professional finest, a chance to network with the best accountants and thought leaders around, dance on the disco ball until 1 a.m, an award-winning food, and AAA a comedian as the host. It's completely free to enter, which we've just mentioned is going to be done by the 14th of June, you said, wasn't it?
Midnight on the 14th of June.
Unlike some award programs out there, and it's completely independent judging, experts from all the key organization associates you know and trust. Great. Getting shortlisted is a great recognition of your talent, motivation for your team, and it generally turns into new business. So many of our finalists report that they started a conversation because of the noise around accounting excellence. And we got even feedback from last week's show, didn't we, when we mentioned how one of the finalists didn't quite have it on their website. All changed now. It's on there. They're showing it proudly. And I think that's what it's all about, right? Like the fact that we're now, they're shouting about how they were involved in Accounting Excellence. They went and won it. It's a great conversation topic. And it really does help, not only when you're trying to recruit and trying to bring people in, because it's a great talk, but clients are like, you've won what? Like, it's just that prestiginess of being on there, isn't it? It does help you win work, definitely, and bring it through from there. Speaking of the judges, there is a huge amount of judges coming through. When you talk about like the creme de la creme of the names in the accounting industry, sometimes you just look at the Accounting Excellence Awards judging panel, right? And there you are. If you need guests for podcasts or you need to find people for thought leader, yeah, exactly. Just head over to the Accounting Excellence Awards. I mean, yeah, the names are just absolutely brilliant, and more still to come as well from what we can tell. That's just a brilliant one. You've got Joe Wood there, which as you know very well, has always got some great insights and will be very fair on the judging. Lucy's there. I mean, she's been able to build an empire up from from scratch, right? Like, and build it from there. Kaylee's there. She's always got some great conversation. Nick Levine's there. We've got, I mean, literally everyone you can think of. Sharon Cook, Billy from 2020, Amy from ICB, Rachel Harris is there. We've just got absolutely everyone there to bring it in. So the judging is going to be judged to the highest quality just by the names they've got there, right? And I think that's one of the prestige parts, isn't it? If you do win it, you've been judged fairly.
Yeah, definitely. It's all. I just think that they've got such a broad range of judges as well that people are going to be looking at these and going, and they're taking all these different experiences and knowledge bases into account. I think that's fantastic.
So this week we thought we'd concentrate on the Service Line Awards, which we've got Bookkeeping Team of the Year. That's definitely going to be one that's going to be highly contested.
Always is every year.
Yeah, if it's anything to do with with the bookkeeping community out there, when they get their teeth into something, there'll be a lot of chatter around that one. Sponsored by Iris, that one. Tax Team of the Year by CCH. Walter's Clueless there as well. I mean, what's been innovating? What did the Tax Team of the Year need to have done this year? Do you reckon? Is it
kept up with all the changes?
Yeah,
worked out how to communicate with HMRC when no one else seems to be able to. They've got their work cut out. It's going to be interesting to see quite what makes them stand out. And the beauty of this is we don't just, on the awards night, they don't just go, and the winner is Dus. They go, and the winner has done X, Y, Z, and A, B, C, and the winners are Buff. So we know we're learning. Like, even if you're not putting in nominations and you're not shortlisted for winning, going to these events with in my case, an iPad, in Paul's case, a notebook, fantastic event to go and work out what are the leading award-winning firms doing that I can take note of and decide how can we take that and action it in our firm.
Yeah. Exactly right. What about Progressive Payroll Team of the Year? I mean, for me, this is the one area where we've really struggled this year. So finding out, as you just said, how the industry leaders are.
Because I think you've just avoided your application.
I can't apply for this one. Like, I'm in turmoil in my payroll at the moment. I mean, ironically, it's sponsored by Employment Hero, so.
Which is part of the turmoil.
I'll leave it there. But Progressive Payroll Team of the Year. Now, I'll be really interested to know what they've done, like what software they're using, how they combating the issues of pricing. That's the stuff.
Support, hasn't it? And employee support. That's communication. Surely that's going to be the leading light of those applications.
Exactly. And I think, our job during the night is to try and get chats about the winners and everything and get like interviews and stuff. I'm really excited about interviewing the payroll one just to figure out. I know that they'll tell the story on there, but let's figure out exactly how they've been able to get that, because that is for this year, like with the problems that we've got with payroll at the moment, I think that'll be a huge one, and especially with next year with the whole P11D issues and all that sort of stuff. I think that's definitely one. Progressive Audit Firm of the Year. I have no comment on this. Hopefully they do well. Hopefully there's innovation. But we might have to get an actual proper auditor to come on, like Amy Hannock or someone, to talk about the auditing side, because let them do. Marketing Campaign of the Year, though, sponsored by Practice Web. This will be interesting, right? Like, Marketing Campaign of the Year. We're not talking MTD or anything to kind of get people bums on seats now. We're talking about proper innovation. Is AI going to have a conversation topic there? Is that what's bringing them in? What do you think?
Yeah. And do the judges decide that actually the best marketing campaign has been pay-per-click, social media? If so, which social media channels? Is it a website? Like, what does that type of campaign look like? So others can go, okay, they've had some great results out of this. Let's see how we can get on board and do something similar for ourselves.
Yeah, 100%. 100%. Last year's winners were Bookkeeping Team Year, were We Are Safe Hands Limited. Tax Team were BKL. Payroll was QTAC. Progressive Audit Firm of the Year was Creston Reeves. And In-House Marketing Team of the Year was Linford Gray Associates. So they've changed the name of that one then. Interesting. So it's not In-House Marketing Team of the Year, it's Marketing.
I think the feedback generally would have been on that one as well, what about all the firms that don't have an in-house marketing team?
Yeah.
And whereas now it's like, actually, anyone's marketing campaign can be put forward for that award now.
Yeah.
Whether you're a one-person band or a huge organization, you're now eligible for that award.
I mean, maybe we put your video of Apron in there and see how far that gets. The masterpiece of you sat there very chilled.
Ladies and gentlemen, I give you.
That's our whole application.
Yeah. Just to get that one video file.
Yeah.
Tell me that's gone wrong.
That doesn't get shortlisted. I don't know what will.
Yeah.
No, there are some great. I mean, yeah, there's some great campaigns out there, and I think that's going to be one. I assume that'll be one to keep a close eye on. Right. Speaking of keeping a close eye on, this is a bit of news that happened during Accountex, and we wanted to talk about it, but we couldn't because we couldn't find any official news about it, which is odd.
And we still can't.
And we still can't, exactly.
Someone else has spoken about it, so we can now.
Exactly. Do you want to talk about what was spoken about, and then we can get our thoughts on it?
We were hearing rumors and speculation at Accountex from very well-placed sources. Like, some of the people that were telling us this were like people that, you know, you take their word for gospel 9 out of 10 times.
Yep.
But even they've not been talking about this on social media and stuff. It's a bit hush-hush. It's a bit weird. But Phil Hobden, is it Hobden or Holden?
Holden, I thought, but yeah.
Holden. Sorry, Phil Holden, who is been in the industry for years. He does a newsletter once a month.
Mhm.
And his latest newsletter covers this. Well, not really covers it. It mentions this. It's a one-liner. But we're going to take that as public public awareness and discuss it further. So
it's the Ask the Accountant fantasy zone, where we're 99% sure this is right, but it might not be.
Yeah, take this with a pinch of salt, people. But the news is that Pixie, the practice management software, has sold to the Access Group, which is an interesting move from both parts. Because my understanding of the Access Group is they're looking at medium to large firms.
Mm.
And I don't think that's where Pixie was pitched originally. Their pricing certainly went that way by the end. Like, they weren't really interested in anyone that couldn't afford more than 250 clients a month. That was their first 0 to 250 was their first bracket in the end.
Yeah.
But yeah, like, I mean, obviously I'm on the inside of practice management softwares, Engager, and we've seen interesting things that happening. Like, you kind of put the dots together that it's heading that direction. So like, since the end of last year, they've been losing key team members and they didn't seem to replace them. They've gone very, very quiet on social medias where they were normally extremely active. So it was kind of lining up. Maybe they're up for sale, maybe they're struggling, something like that. And then we heard rumors and speculations at Fab that they were up for sale. And then we found out at Accountex that they were sold to the Access Group. So yeah, it's been but then there's still no official news about it. We've still not got any public statements, news press or anything about this. Accounting Web aren't covering it, but I'm fairly sure they're probably aware of it. So yeah, it's an interesting one.
As we've got the opportunity to be a bit more, we're in the fantasy zone here, so we're not, we can be a bit more. Let's think about what this, allegedly, and let's think about what we think this might be. But a really interesting point about the fact that it's an odd, or not an odd fit, but it doesn't. On paper, it didn't quite make sense in terms of their, Pixie is definitely not, well, I wouldn't call it a practice management solution for a medium class firm because I don't really see it as a practice management firm. Is this them almost saying that actually, thinking about it, it's never really been a proper practice management solution, and actually what it is good at is a task management solution. And if that task management solution was aimed and tweaked a little bit at medium-sized firms, actually it could be quite a powerful task management solution. Is it again, we're speculating here, it's all tinfoil hat moment, but is that them saying, or almost agreeing that, you know what, a buyer's come along, they've seen potential in the product, but we got it wrong. It's not really a practice management solution. It's a task management solution. Is that what we can take from this? Because I just don't see this as a practice management solution for a medium-sized firm. I feel like they need more.
Yeah, I mean, I think this is probably all stemmed from last May, like at Context 2023.
100%.
Pixie went in and promised the world of AI, Pixie 2.0, and it was going to come out in September, and it never did. And then it kind of did, and people couldn't move over. I think they got themselves into trouble by overcommitting and overpromising something that they wasn't deliverable in the end. And we all know accountants and bookkeepers don't tolerate hopes and dreams. They want actual results. And if you're going to tell them there's going to be a feature, you need to deliver it. Or you need to be open within your communication throughout the year with those customers that there's going to be challenges, and we've come across this problem and we've got that problem. Like, Client Engager doesn't deliver everything on time. We work blooming hard to do it, but sometimes there are third parties like HMRC or an API integration that isn't ready on someone else's end, so we can't do what we need to do. But that's not an issue if you're open to your community and explain that. The differences between I don't think any practice needs a task management system standalone. I think there should be a comprehensive enough task management process in your practice management tool. I think it's all encompassed into one.
I guess it's what they bring, isn't it? It's what secret sauce you bring. Because I don't think it's public knowledge, but we know that Pixie powers a other practice management solution out there, and what they can do with it.
Interesting, because the practice management solution they're powering is not targeted at medium to large firms.
No, not at all. But
although the pricing is, but
yeah, and again, because Pixie's not got the practice management aspect of it, it doesn't really make it a practice management tool anyway. It makes it a very powerful task management tool, right? So if you've got the ability for a task management tool to have the integrations that they could have, and maybe Pixie will have access to that, like vice versa, maybe that's the deal. We don't know. Again, tinfoil hat, fancy zone, everything else. But if Pixie could just concentrate on being a practice management solution that has integrations to your FMS solutions, that is something that has, a big potential for, right? That's the dream that we'd all want, where there's that holistic view. You log in and here's a list of your clients, and here's the ones that are, a gold star against them. Here's the ones that not got a gold star. These are the ones you need to look at, blah, 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 blah. Let's make bookkeeping and all that sort of stuff based on client data as opposed to just time and dates. And I know that like Client Engager is looking to do things like that, and I know there's other, Bright are trying to bring it in with their integration with BTC and all that sort of stuff, right? I know the future is let's try and build it, but I do think a task management solution that's just focused on that is their only focus. It's just purely let's nail that side of things. I think there's room for that. I think they've got to get the price point right, but I think there's room for that focus. And if Pixie can kind of take what they're good at, which is the task management solution, because that's the only thing they've got left.
Dispute that with you. So he used it for Pixie for task management for a bit. It was ineffective and full of bugs. So
then what is its shining light? Because it's definitely not the AI side, because that died a death. Pixie 2.0 just got canned in it. So I'm trying to defend it. I'm trying to give it like a place in the market. And if it's not task management,
the biggest challenge for Pixie 2.0, even if they nailed all the bugs and stuff in it and released it like they planned to, it involved migrating current users onto a new platform, which is always a no-no. You always build from your current platform on. You build it out on your current platform. You look at Center moving into Iris. You have to migrate, and it's not gone well. Like, users are not happy about that. Practice management's a really painful thing to move. Again, yes, you showed us how we could do that very quickly, and my firm only took 7 days over it. But it's one of the most painful moves that accountants and bookkeepers see in their coming up with it. It's just you don't move unless you absolutely have to. So to have to move just to stay on the company you're with is, I mean, it's about as successful way of doing things as Zero redoing all their tariffs. It's just a nightmare.
Yeah, but at least they're not asking you to migrate from one solution to another, right? Like, yeah. Another Rosetta said, yeah, they use Pixie and agree with you, and full of bugs, and that's the frustration, right? Because that's, for me, that's where they could salvage the place in the marketplace, is what I'm trying to say, right? Like they could become a fantastic task management solution that people go, you know what, that's what it might not be for every practice out there, but I have an amazing practice management solution I'm happy with. But Pixie can run alongside that if they could bring it right. You're right, it would be, but then why can't they then open up APIs to connect with practice management solutions and feed that data over, right? Like that could be a long-term thing, but we'll see if it has happened, and if they are moved over, we're pretty sure they have. We'll see what Access has planned for them, because you're right.
As Clive said, it's interesting that Access Group are buying Pixie and Lightyear within months of each other. Well, I don't think even if it was months, it might have been weeks. But they certainly have their
changing. Are they coming down? Are they looking more at the small practices?
I mean, so for massive numbers and sale figures, then yes, Access technically would find it easier to hit targets in the small accounting and bookkeeping area than they would medium and large, because it's an easier sell. Like, go to medium and large accounting and bookkeeping firms, you've got more and more decision makers you've got to convince of the move and the pros and cons. Small businesses, you've only got to convince one or two people, which are the decision makers. So if that's their play and that's the angle they're going for, then that's going to be interesting to see how that disrupts the industry.
Yeah. Access Group is one of the ones where we saw them at Accountex, didn't we? We didn't get a chance to even have a proper chat with them. They have a huge presence there, but it's almost weird about what their presence is for. Yeah, are they just at Accountex so they can walk around the room, get their checkbook out, and start buying up? You know, I don't know. Like I don't quite understand what they bring. And again, it's unfair on us to say that, because even though we did our grid walk, we walked past them, and it was like, well, what are you? You know, what is the draw for your huge stand that they have? Like, what is it that's there? And maybe we're being unfair because we don't know ourselves of what that draw is. But it'd be really interesting to know what they're trying to achieve by being at somewhere like that. So, is it so next year they can have a Pixie and a, Lightyear stand, or presence there and part of the stand? I don't know, but it'll be really interesting to see how that develops, because I think Access is something we've got to keep an eye on, and we've got to understand what their long-term goal is going to be.
I think they're very much going for the whole bright direction of, we're going to buy up lots of different things in different areas, and try and merge them all together to work alongside each other and stuff. And I mean, Access Group have got a huge job ahead of them. Work,
because there's already so many closed ecosystems out there, right? And as accountants, we've already stuck our flags into each one, and we're very passionate about those flags, right? We've learned to be what do you call them? So Rosetta says their customer service is not great either. We need a practice management software that works. Well, I've just done a little video on a little practice management solution that I think works very, very well. So maybe have a little look on that over on the Bofix channel. Day in the life of using a particular practice management solution you may have heard of. Okay, I think that's it. I think we've almost run out. Well, we have run out of time. So interesting day, interesting conversation topics. I think we'll see how the zero pricing works. We'll see what happens. Generally, if there's anyone out there who is going to ZeroCon, do get in touch with us, because I think it'd be great to have you and see what was announced and everything else. It'd be great to catch up on that one. And any Pixie users out there who gets any news about what happens with the world of Pixie, do let us know as well. It'd be great to understand. That's it. Anything your end that you want to talk about or push or promote, Johann? It's been a big week for Client Engager, right? So
yeah, we had a very busy week last week. This week's a bit quieter. We've just got the public release of the catch-up fee tool that's coming out on Friday night, hopefully ready for Saturday. I believe that's the plan. So yeah, so if you've not had a look at that yet, there's videos, there's content all over the place of what the catch-up fee is going to look like and how it works. And all the feedback from the demos and the sessions I've been doing on it for the last week has been extremely positive about the level of customization and flexibility we've given to it compared to what we've seen in some other software. So yeah, hopefully that is a successful launch. I mean, we've been testing it and stuff and we've not got any bugs yet. So that's a good start, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, what I've seen of it so far looks wicked. So looking forward to playing around with it a little bit more. As Instagram says here, Rebecca's joined, who's coming to the workation, says, morning, Aaron, are you packed yet? No, the answer to that is no, unfortunately not packed. So that's going to be my first foray, is trying to get myself packed, ready to get myself over to this event, see how it goes. And then I'm off to Scotland. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that one very much so. And it's WWDC this time next week, isn't it? I mean,
It is.
does it get more exciting than that?
Yeah,
So,
looking forward to that one.
Definitely. Fantastic, everyone. Well, thank you, everyone who has been. It's been a very busy day in the comments. So thank you for everyone who's joined in. Hopefully you all have a fantastic and rewarding week. And we will see you this time next week, possibly in person. Who knows? By the sounds of it, it's going to be raining, whatever happens. So we'll see. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see how that goes. Right. Cheers, everybody. Thank you again. And we will see you next week. Bye for now.
Next week. Bye-bye.
You thought by now I'd have the outro ready to go. Bye.
Bye.